Okay, this is Sunday, October 15th, 1995, and this is an interview with Charlie Clark, Leona Clark, and Eddie Clark. And it's regarding their knowledge of Appalachia and their background and their growing up years. And by doing this interview, they're giving permission that I might use any part of this interview in any writing. Okay? Are we ready? By the way, if you think any of these questions are too personal, you don't have to answer them, or you just tell me I'm not going to answer. I don't think I'm asking anything personal. I mean, that personal. First off, Charlie, you were born in Kentucky?
Right.
Round Hazard?
I was born in Wayland, Kentucky.
Where's that at?
That's up there in Floyd County.
Floyd County.
Yeah.
Floyd. Oh, okay. I see Floyd County. Okay. And where were you born?
I was born in Tennessee.
Oh, so but still in the Appalachian area?
She was born in Tracy City.
I was born in Tracy City.
Mm-hmm. So then, after you met Charlie and got married, then you moved up to Kentucky.
I went to Kentucky before me and you got married.
Okay. And then you met and you got married and you stayed in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And Eddie, you were born in Hazard?
Well, I was born in a little place called David, right outside of Prestonsburg.
I've heard of that. I don't know why.
Jenny Wiley State Park.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. Okay, I see it.
And Wayland is just to your right there, probably.
Okay.
West.
It's west?
Be east, I guess.
Yeah. And I haven't found it, but I will. I see Jenny Wiley State Park. Okay, but we'll find it. Okay. Charlie, when were you born?
1920.
1920.
I was born in 22.
49.
You mean you're younger than I am?
I guess
That's
so.
no way. No. And I guess until you moved up here to Dayton, or you lived in Kentucky, you lived in Tennessee when you were younger, and then when you married Charlie, you were.
Yeah, we moved to Tennessee. I moved to Kentucky.
Yeah,
40.
and then when did you
40.
When did you come here to Dayton?
68.
68.
I came in 67.
You had to be the pathfinder?
I was with Clark, Lewis and Clark.
Oh.
Gene was here first.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's how you ended up here. Gene and Eddie came, and then you came up to make sure they were behaving themselves.
We come up for Gene and Linda's anniversary.
No, we told Gene's birthday.
Yeah. Gene's birthday. And the mines that I'd worked at had shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So my job was discontinued, and I didn't have no job. They kept wanting me to go to Frigidaire, said, "Why didn't you get a job?" And we stayed around about a week with him. I told him, I said, "I'll go down there and just to satisfy them. I'll go down and put my application in for a job." And you know they hard me.
See, that's what you get.
Well, first you went to Virginia, West Virginia?
Oh, I went on to West Virginia, worked over about a month. I didn't work that long. I worked 2 weeks over there, that's all.
Well, you came up here for the job, I believe.
Yeah.
So that's why you came to Dayton for a job. Why did you come, Eddie?
To get away from home.
Oh, okay.
Brother was up here,
Okay.
and there were no jobs down there really, so that's where he came to the job.
Yeah. So, Charlie, were your parents born in Kentucky?
Yes.
Around the same place there?
Well, I think Mommy was born in that place called Caney.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was born in down around Ashland, so forth.
Mm.
I don't know what county it was.
Mm. What about, do you know where your grandparents, were they born in Kentucky also, your grandparents, or did they?
Well, the only grandparents I really know is my mother's dad. And he was born around, he was born on King. He was born and raised there.
Okay. So, for the most part, your family was from around Kentucky.
Oh,
yeah.
It was all, yeah.
And your family was from Tennessee, or?
Yeah.
Tracy City.
Tracy City.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, how me and Leon met was her dad died. I know Leona Clark's dad before the uncle up. Her dad died, and her brother up to Kentucky. Well, I seen her, and I told Mommy, I said, there's your daughter. So I go over to see her that morning. When she comes in, she thinks I'm a cousin. That's a bummer. Took me about 9 months to get her.
Well, I guess when my mother first saw my dad, she said he was the ugliest man she'd ever seen. She just went out with him because he kept bugging her all the time, asking her out for a date. She said, look what happened to me.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie, can you tell me a little bit about your years growing up in Kentucky? Like what your home was like, and you said you went to 5th grade, you know, what your school was like, and what did you do for fun when you were a kid, and what type of chores were you required to do, and those sort of things?
What I done for fun when I was a kid, I would climb trees and run up and down mountains. That's all we had to do back. We didn't have none. We didn't have no ball fields, no nothing.
What kind of work did your dad do? Was he
coal miner?
He worked in the mines also.
Yeah. Worked in the coal mines all his life.
So did you live in coal mining towns or camp towns?
Yeah, we lived in a place called West Crack Bottom, number 6 Bottom, Globe Glory, Wayland, Estill, Porter, Grant, Lackey. You name it, we just lived here in yonder.
Yeah, I've heard of some of those.
And David was the last place.
David was the last place we lived in Kentucky.
So when you were growing up, I guess going to school was sort of difficult because you were moving around, and they probably didn't have many, you know. And I know in those coal mining camps, most of them didn't have schools.
Well, see, back then, work was hard to get you to work. When Dad worked at number 5, at 5 o'clock in the evening, they'd blow the firehouse whistle. If they blew the whistle, they would work the next day. If they didn't blow the whistle, it wasn't no work. They'd go for weeks there. They wouldn't blow that whistle. And it's just rough. All places that way, them mines were. They just didn't work that much.
So I gather your mother probably just stayed home. She took care of the house. And how many kids were there?
Well, they were 8 now.
8.
Yeah.
So that was enough to take care of.
Oh yeah, back then it was, yeah.
How big usually were your houses? Like
about 4 rooms.
4 rooms, yeah.
Not a 4-room house. Everybody have most rooms have bedrooms. I guess they'd have 2 beds in each room. Most of them have a kitchen. They didn't have no living room and a kitchen. You had a dining room and a kitchen. You just had the kitchen.
Yeah.
The dining room was the living room. The other 2 rooms was the bedroom. The outhouse was on down the road a little ways there.
Did you usually have any running water in your house?
Only running water you had was when you put your hand run through the house. Oh, you had.
You had to get it from the creek or a pump or something,
Yeah, most of that goes wells.
Yeah.
Yeah, you draw the water well. Drop the bucket down in and had a pull that part, and you can pull it up.
Yeah. I guess these coal towns were sort of notorious for not providing much for their workers.
That was true in the early years when he was.
David didn't like that.
Well, David
No, after we married him.
I'm talking about from
when he was
from
a
say
little.
20,
Yeah.
from the time I can remember, 25. I can remember back in 1925. I remember back that far. I remember when we lived there at number Lackey there, next to number 5 Tipple. That's where my sister, Beulah May, that's where she died. I remember her. She died when she was 3 years old.
Well, there's a depression here in there, too.
Huh?
In the 30s when the depression hit.
Oh, yeah.
That's the reason there wasn't much, probably.
Yeah.
I remember going up there, when we went to West Crack Bottom, what's called West Crack Bottom, I would go back to Dad on Friday and get rice. That's when they give out there in rice house. People had eaten the damn stuff, that's all they had. And if you didn't raise your stuff in the summertime, you didn't have nothing through the winter. If somebody didn't give it to you. You had to raise it through the summer. I remember picking blackberries, cantaloupe blackberries, huckleberries, you name it. You had canned green beans, chili that, Bale Hall. Had a cow, we had a cow with milk.
Yeah, I think the mines started playing out in the late 30s too. I mean,
Well, in 36 is really when the mine started,
yeah.
after Roosevelt got in as president, and they started organizing. He gave John L. Lewis the right to organize the labor. That's in 36, that's when it started getting a little better. People started working and they started demanding more.
Do you remember any place that you were at where there were a lot of, was there a lot of violence and strikes at any other places?
Well, they had a lot of strikes. No, I don't remember really hurting nobody.
Harlem was when...
I had Harley County, that's in, I think that's in between 36 and 40, I think it was.
But they had a lot of strikes, a lot of violence there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they had a lot of killing in
That
Harlem.
was just the next county down.
Yeah.
I think it was about 37. I think it's 37 when it was.
They would go on strike and all the coal miners would gather and go down there to help the strikers keep scabs from coming on and taking their jobs. And that's when you got the violence. And then when Dad worked in the 50s, I think it was, there were strikes seemed like every other week.
Jim's worked in 1940. A little place called Goose Creek Mining Company. That was between Bosco, that was between Hughesville and Garrick, is where that was. That was that place. And that's where I started working out there. But I have cut grass around the hotel at Garrick for 50 cents a day.
Well, now, when your dad and when you worked in the mines, did they still pay in script or did you get cash money?
No, they paid in script. You had a script.
Yeah, and you had to.
I remember him going to the office, worked all night and go to the office the next day and try to draw 50 cents out for his pay, and they said we didn't have no time in the office. Lots and lots of times. I know they've done that. They just wouldn't pay him about it.
Yeah.
Working but wouldn't pay him.
Yeah. So you would use all the money at the company store, or that you would...
Yeah, that's where you spent the money. That's why they give you a script.
Yeah.
You couldn't spend it nowhere else. You had to spend it in the commissary.
Yeah.
It's a company store.
Do you remember what kind of work you said you only knew your one grandfather was, what type of work did he do, or do you remember?
He's just handyman, record. Just first one thing, then another.
So none of your parents or your grandparents ever farmed that you knew of?
Not that I know of, no.
Well, the farming they done was for food for the winter.
Yeah.
Not farming to make a living.
Well, we'd raise a garden.
Right.
And we'd raise a garden and corn, stuff like that, put up for the winter, have it for the winter, kill a hog.
But you didn't have a place of your own. You lived in the company house.
Well, here or a private rented home somewhere.
Yeah, or you rented a home.
Yeah. No, we didn't own no property.
Because I know a lot of the miners had small farms and they would just mine during the winter, or when they didn't have their farms to tend to.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of them around there somewhere. David their way.
And then when you came to Dayton, you worked at Frigidaire then, when you got a job. You worked at Frigidaire then when you came to Dayton. And then you worked there for how long?
7 years.
Okay.
Been out of the toilet for months.
Do you think that coming here was a good move for you, coming to Dayton? Would you have preferred to stay in Kentucky?
I love to stay. I don't know.
Yeah, you would have done.
But you just didn't have any work then.
That's the only reason why I came here and stayed here. Because I went to work. If I hadn't went to work, I'd have went back here.
Okay.
I went back to study. I don't know what I'd have done, but I'd have went back.
When you first came here, other than financial problems, I know, when you came you didn't have a job. What other kind of difficulties did you have when you came here? Like, did people make fun of you because you were from Kentucky, or did you have problems finding a place to live, those sort of things?
Oh, no.
So you didn't have any
I see most of this place right around here, bars anyway. Most people,
And most of those people that worked at Frigidaire were too, huh?
yeah. Most of these people, right here in Rockview, they're bars anyway.
Okay.
We just mixed in with the crowd. That's all it was.
It's got here before we did.
Yeah.
Well, Eddie, when you came here, did you have any problem? I mean, being a young person and looking for work, and did people make fun of you? And I've heard a lot of my friends say that people made fun of them and called them hillbillies and briars, and they felt...
Well, that's just normal. I mean, you make a common mistake,
Mhm.
and they'd call you a stupid briar or something like that. You know,
Just to make themselves better and...
right, yeah, it's a put down for you to build up to them or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it's done today.
So now when you came here, were you working at... Did you get a job at Duriron at that time?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've been at Duriron ever since you came.
Right, 28 years.
Well, you're about ready to retire, aren't
Yep.
you? I'll still be going to school, and you'll be retired.
30 years you've gone to school.
Maybe Sherry can support you then.
I hope so. That's what we're hoping. If I can get her a good education.
What's your degree going to be in, Sherry?
Early childhood education.
Oh. It was Mary Sue went for a year for.
Oh, that's a winner. That's a rich job there.
I just want to make sure the tape's still going here. Leona, right? Yeah. I don't know why I want to keep calling her Lenore. I don't know.
That's pretty close, I guess, too.
One of the things that I might be writing about is what was life like for women. And when you and Charlie got married, then I guess he was working in the coal mines, right?
Yeah.
And you lived in a company town then, or did you have your own little rented place?
We didn't live in a camp whenever we first married.
When we first married, we lived in Muskrat Bottom.
Yeah.
We lived there 6 months, and then we went to David.
Okay.
And then David was just a little coal camp.
Okay.
That's what it was.
So you had a little house of your own, or
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
So and there are what? There are 3 of you, right? You have 3 children.
Yeah.
So and did you work outside the home, or did you stay? Okay.
I didn't work out with Mom.
So what kind of things did you do? I mean, at home. I mean, did you have in your house? Did you have running water and inside plumbing and all that by that time, or so you didn't have to go to the or draw water or anything like that?
Where?
We did.
When we first went there.
When we first went to David, they did.
No, they didn't have running water when we first went there. They put it in after we moved. They had them hydrants, you remember?
Wow,
Yes,
I
but
was there.
you had to take a bucket, go out that hydrant, and get your water out of the hydrant, and then carry it in the house.
So what? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
How long was that before they put running water in the
That's
house?
about 6 months. Then they
I know it wasn't long.
put running water in all of them. And they put that bathtub there. You got that galvanized tub where you bring your bath in. Put that bathtub in, hell, that's like swimming pool. That's something great.
One thing you might be interested
When you used to run in water and then get it in.
Yeah.
One thing you might be interested in is when they moved to David, the little place that we're from, they lived in a place called Garrett.
Garrett.
West Garrett.
West Garrett, okay.
Okay.
And when they he got a job at David Elkhorn Coal Company there in David.
Mhm.
And when they got their home, they had to ride a train up to within about 2 miles, and then walk the rest of the way.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the first one in there.
Right. They had.
Then this first building they came in.
Yeah.
They were just building the camp.
Yeah. So there were no roads or anything.
Oh, no.
You just had to.
They had the old cars. They used to have the 20-inch wheels on.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a big bicycle wheel.
Mhm.
That was the only way you could get in there with that thing, or a horse. And
We're coming 2 miles and walk the rest of the way.
right,
Or
ride the train down there.
Okay.
There wasn't anything there to do with it. The mines was your life.
Yeah. When did you get your first car?
1940.
Okay. So by that time, And you guys got married in when?
We got
1960?
married 41.
Okay. So by that time, at least the roads must have been good enough that you could get around if you had a car then. I mean,
She had 28-inch wheels.
if you had 28-inch wheels. Okay, like what?
You had to have big wheels on it.
Okay. Too bad they didn't build Blazers then, or whatever.
See, they put that,
I guess they
they
did
put
that.
that hard top road through drag 32 is when it went through. That's asphalt, they called it hard top back then, you know. And from Prestonburg up part of Davyville, that was partially a blacktop, and the rest of it just old dirt road with it. When we parked the car front of the house, and me and Dorothy walked off on it. Had to walk the last 2 miles. The road was so bad that, well, they had a road, but old Doc Dempsey had, Dr. What was his name?
Archer.
Yeah, Doc Archer. He had about 32-inch wheels on an old Ford. And his just like wagon wheels. He'd go over anything, I think. And that's why he come up in there. And see, he was the company doctor. He got in with that company and got to be the doctor. Everybody paid him $25 a month. That's what his fees was. And then he doctored everybody free.
See a doctor taking $25 a month. Wouldn't even take a quarter a second.
That's what he charged, $25 a month.
Now, he would come in, he didn't stay there, he would only come in, would he come in every day, or would he come in once a week?
4 o'clock to 6 of a day.
Every day?
Yeah. All except for Sunday. He did come in on Sunday. But it cost $25 a month. Which wasn't bad. Which wasn't bad medical coverage.
That was Dr. Chief, isn't it?
Yeah. So what kind of work did you do at home?
I just done regular housework.
They run up that happy.
She did?
Yeah.
Did you have to
There it is.
Did you have to do your own sewing at that time, or did you bought your? You didn't have to.
No,
Do
I
any-
didn't do much sewing.
Okay.
Well, the laundry took about a day, and when she would do the laundry, because you had to, wasn't no washer and dryer, you had to wash it with an old tub type job.
Yeah, and ringer type.
Wringer out. And you'd hang it on a clothesline. And then you'd do that one day, and then the next day you would iron it. So there wasn't no permanent press. And then,
No, there's a lot different in clothes back then.
Yeah.
Everything you wore, you had to iron it.
and then you'd normally mop once a week and wax. Mop and wax the floors, I remember that. That was once a week. 3 meals a day.
So, took up
Yep.
all your time. Did you have any hobbies?
Back
Well,
fence.
I got a bunch.
Did you like to gossip?
Down with the back fence. There's the neighbor lady sitting right there.
We had a lot of neighbors in that cabin.
Did people have a hobby back then?
Gossip. I ain't lying. Every morning 9 o'clock, I got that cup of coffee, her and my aunt. And gossip for about an hour. Then you have to get back to work.
No, I really can't remember having a hobby.
You
You
just-
fish, you hunt.
Yeah.
You
You used to hunt all
But
the time.
hell, I didn't get to go once every 2 or 3 months, so.
Well, back then I think that was when they worked 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And there was mandatory mostly, and you had to work all those hours, and then the weekends were kind of work.
I didn't think there was much hobby type work. What I call hobbies now, I think people would have called drudgery back then, or maybe even earlier, probably like quilting.
Yeah.
People probably would have saw that as work, or a chance to get together with a group of church women or something.
Well, I think they hunted, but I think it was a lot of sport and a lot of necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what my hobbies was when I was a kid.
Fish.
Playing marbles.
You liked to play marbles when you were a kid, huh?
Yeah. Well, do you know Archie Neal?
You know that as a kid too.
Archie Neal.
He's a preacher right here in Birdville. He lives
No.
down there.
No, I don't know him.
Me and him grew up together,
Oh.
and we used to play marbles. That big round ring. And then we'd have a steel ball for a towel. What you call a towel, didn't you have
Yeah.
a steel ball? You shoot it all the time with a towel. And we played marbles, make a big old round ring. What they call fatty, make a little square. And put a marble in each corner. And the fellow got all them marbles out, was the winner. If somebody killed you, then you got to give him all the marbles back.
So did you used to win?
Every now and then. Didn't win too much.
So what did you do when you were a kid in Tennessee? What kind of games did you play and what?
That's much more going.
Yeah, Mom, you played basketball, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
When you were...
Softball.
Softball?
Yeah.
And basketball?
Basketball.
Now you lived in what part of Tennessee?
Tracy City.
Tracy City. And that's near Nashville?
No, it's not near Chattanooga.
Chattanooga.
Oh, it's near Chattanooga. Okay. How far did you go to school?
8th.
8th grade?
Yeah, he's 7th grade.
Well,
He
yeah. What did your dad do?
was a minor.
He was a miner also? Do you remember, did you know your grandparents and what kind of work they did? Or were they from Tennessee, your parents?
Yeah, in Tennessee, but my dad is dead. I didn't see him. I don't know. His mother I understand. My grandmother, I knew her, but my grandfather on my mother's side, I didn't know him. See him a few times when I was around him. Oh, what kind of work he does?
So now when you were, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't know what he's on yet.
So now when you were growing up as a kid, did you live in a coal mining towns too, or did you live on a farm, or did you a house in town, or?
Yeah.
Y'all live in the country too, didn't you?
Yeah, in the country, wasn't it town? More in the country, I guess.
Farm?
Huh?
Was it a farm?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a farm. They had gardens, but I wouldn't say it's a farm.
You know, she said she'd write a book.
How far were the houses apart? Were there many houses?
Unless you live in a coal camp.
Yes, but it wasn't a camp like this. I mean, you know.
Unless you lived in a coal camp, it took you 2 hours to see your neighbor. They're just far apart. They didn't live close
No,
together.
they didn't.
You know what?
It was all around, but it wasn't a camp.
Right now, I'd give anything if they had made cameras back in 25, and now they had more. Then I'd like to have them. I could have sold my life.
That's what you're doing now.
No, I mean, I could have sold it, son. I could have sat down and sold it. The things that I've done and things I had to do and things that I didn't want to do that I had to do anyway. Where I wanted to or where I didn't.
You mean like chores or work or what?
Well, there's work and then there's other stuff I had to do that
Cheryl, would pictures do you any good of our tent?
didn't want to do.
I think we have a picture of our tent.
Yeah.
I don't think I've got a picture like this.
Yeah, you got one of David's.
I mean back when I was 13, 14 years old,
Yeah.
12, I don't think I've got no picture back there. Yeah, I've got one somewhere when I was about 8, but that's a cap hole, remember? I was about 8 years old. Had a cap on. Well, who is wet now?
One of the things when we were coming up, you know, you're talking about Mom came from Tracy City, Dad lived in Garrett, and then when they got married, they lived in Garrett, and they came to David. And you were talking a while ago about how, I guess, unfair the strikes and labor problems that the companies had with the people and the people had with the company. Well, as Dad got there in David, you know, there was no road when you first got married. Well, the man that owned the coal mines, they built a road through there, hard top, whatever you want to call it. And then the man built company houses, a company store, a fountain, and a swimming pool. We had a pond that we could fish in, a ball diamond that we could play, a park that you could play in. It was a place that
And church? No.
we had a church, we had a Boy Scout cabin, a Girl Scout cabin, It was self-contained right there. I had no reason
Had a gym
to
there.
ever leave. I mean, as a child, I could go anywhere I wanted to, probably within a 2-mile radius here. And it was like 300 homes, maybe. And yeah, we were financially strapped because the company did take your money. They had you in a situation where they got the rent money from you. They sold you the food.
Got money for schooling.
Got money for schooling. Everything that we had, well, we had our own school right there in that 2-mile radius. We didn't have to. I guess the farthest person came was probably 3 miles away, and they were brought in by a truck, it was like a truck with a camper on the back that was made out of wood that they used for a school bus. But everything was in that camp right there that you could ask for. We had no reason to leave it, and really. No, as far as growing up in a place, you know, you could hunt there, you could fish there, we had an organized baseball league, an organized Boy Scout, organized Girl Scout. In this little camp that I come from is the perfect situation to grow a kid in, because every parent knows everybody. They can't do anything that didn't get back to mom and dad. Then after you get 18-year-old, you find out that there's more on the other side of the hill, that there's a place, a town that you can go to that's got a movie theater. Well, matter of fact, we even had a movie theater there. We had tennis courts. But then you find out that you can go to the picture show.
Well, they had that there for a while.
Well, they did have a movie house there, but then we could leave there and go to town, which was a little bigger place. Then they built a high school there, which drew the kids in. It was 10 miles away, the high school was. But what I was getting at is in that town growing up, in today's time, they hear about President Clinton and what he's done, what your congressmen have done, and you're more involved in what's going on in the world. When I was growing up, I didn't care if I ever seen a newspaper or not, because my world was right there. College was something that you just heard about. You really didn't know a whole lot about it. There wasn't that many college-educated people around you.
So, what I'm hearing you say, Eddie, is that it was isolated, but it was a happy isolation.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord,
You know, you asked a while ago, would he go back? If he had his way, if I had my way, I'd have never been in Ohio, because that place had everything that I could possibly ask for. The only problem is it didn't have money. The jobs, they'd used the coal mines up, and now it was on a downhill drag, and therefore you had to leave. It wasn't like he moved from Bosco, Garrett, and so on. That was in search of the coal and the jobs. And then when he came to Ohio, he was in search of a job. He didn't want up here. He came up here. He put an application in probably because my brother aggravated him to, and he did, and they hired him. He didn't even want the job. He didn't want to leave home. Nobody wants to uproot after you've been in a place for, 28, 30 years? And then he came up here, and he would say, I was up here before that. But it was because of work. And, you know, to go to school, I mean, he didn't have really the money to send me to college. So I could have went to a trade school, but I was going to go to be a machinist, and I got a job up here as a learner in a machine shop, doing exactly what I was going to go to school to do. And I was learning on the job and getting paid for it. So that's what kept me here. Had it not been for the job, he would have been in Kentucky. Probably my brother would have been in Kentucky, and I would have been in Kentucky.
Well, if times that David there now was like they was then, I'd go back.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd go back.
What is David like now?
Well, they've got nothing in there now but a house. They still got their church house.
Well, the church house burnt down, I think, was the downfall of the camp.
Oh, yeah.
The coal mines went out of business.
Well, they still got that fountain. That old company store is still there.
Yeah.
But it's still there, but that's just it. It's there, but it ain't got nothing in it. But it was an ideal place to raise youngsters.
When the coal mines went out, and then they started
to raise kids.
They started.
It was a paradise.
What do they call it, Dad? Trucking the coal in it. What do they do?
Truck mines?
Yeah, truck mines. They made a truck mine, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then most people left in search of jobs from the coal camp. The ones that could stay and retire, they did. But the ones that were probably in their middle 40s, they still had their families and their teams, or they had to leave to find work. And so everybody kind of dispersed, and the trucking company came in, and the camp went way downhill. A lot of people left. The houses were no insulation, pitiful.
Oh, there is this, what's about to say, barn,
Right.
when it was built. They just put up. They didn't have any insulation in it
And
whatsoever.
we heated with a coal stove that we had to carry coal into. We had them old warm morning stoves. If you wanted to take a bath, then you had to build your fire to heat the water up in order to get the bath water warm. At night you had to load the stove up, and it would heat it up. And in the mornings when you would get up, these places were so cold that when you get up in the morning, the linoleum, they didn't tack it down, and it would roll up about 4 or 5 rows, well maybe not 3 or 4 rows, great big rows. And then as the house warmed up, the linoleum would lay back down, and it was kind of comical.
Well, I heard Friday when I was talking to some people down in Lexington. These people work, they work in an Appalachian Council, and they work with people in eastern Kentucky. And one of the things they told me is there's an effort underway to start preserving some of these coal towns, to start preserving for historic reasons.
I think it was Daniel Boone that went by our church there. Remember when the little stream ran that they got thawed out of or something? For some reason they put a little marker up that Daniel Boone got something out of the creek or something there.
Maybe he killed a bar there.
It could have been.
I don't know. He killed so many bars.
No, David Francis, he built a paradise.
Right.
David
L. Francis, yeah.
So he was the person who owned that coal.
David L. Francis. Princess Elkhorn Coal Company was the name of it.
What was it?
Princess Elkhorn Coal.
Princess?
Yeah, and David L. Francis was the owner.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he pumped money into it. Like I said, we had a full-size, almost Olympic-sized pool.
Where was he from?
Huntington, West Virginia.
Was he? Huntington was a new town, probably a fairly new town at that time, or not too old. Huntington.
Well, see, I think his parents was in the coal business.
Yeah.
Some way. I don't know exactly how they was. And he come into Middle Creek, which back in they claimed that all that coal and all that stuff where they mined belonged to my parents, belonged to my mother and her brothers and sisters, which they could never prove.
What happened was in Lexington, I think it was, the books were, the page was tore out of the books, of the deed books, where
Now,
we
the
owned.
president
And you'll find out that happened to a lot. As a matter of fact, I know a couple of cases that have been won, and they've had to go back and give these people back their mineral rights and gas rights and oil rights to these people. And that same thing happened in the family. They owned it, but yet Dad, was it your dad? Dad was a horse trader. He'd trade a horse for a pair of boots, or
That's Daddy's dad now.
Okay. And supposedly he had made a deal where he owned the holler, so to speak, that the coal was in, which would have been several hollers. But he owned that land, and then they came in and took and started mining coal when they did, and then they wanted to prove that it was theirs, and they got checking into it. The page in the deed book was missing.
How convenient, huh?
And so...
Well, from what I've read, and not having too much experience, because my relatives that lived in Kentucky are dead, and I can't talk to them now, but from what I've read, a lot of people who owned land, they owned it got it on a handshake or a trade or something, and nothing was recorded, so they had no proof. And when the capitalists from the north and the east came in, the farmers or the people who owned the land had no proof. And of course they had the backing of the state and county government people, so they were able to literally steal this land from the people.
Exactly.
And my analogy of the whole thing is these people came in like a swarm of locusts. They cleared the timber, they took the coal, and then they were there, and then they were gone, and they just left the place destitute. And here are these people,
That's what happened to David.
Well, it is what happened to David, but the good thing about it is, I can't say enough good things about David L. Francis. When in my childhood, I had a pool, theater, fountain, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, everything a child could want. Now, of course, when you figure the millions he got versus the hundreds he put in it, he got a good return on his money. But I guess the biggest thing was it was ours and was literally taken with no proof.
Yeah.
That's that. What was it? Like I said, he was trading, and the story I got, he had moved up toward Ashland, and he was trading around different things. And, you know, he could have traded it. He may have traded all that land, because the land, it was useless to him.
Yeah.
And if he could have traded it for a bottle of whiskey, he may have done it for all of it. But the last thing we had, or heard was, it was ours, but the page was missing, and they got lawyers. At different times, they thought they could take it.
They could never do nothing with it.
Right. So, then they got to be rich.
And you could still live in Kentucky.
Oh, really? Wasn't that great?
I've got a sister still lives there.
And you have a daughter that still lives in Kentucky. Where's your sister
She
live?
lives down out in Louisa.
Oh, I'm going to be going to Louisa here soon, so.
She lives in Cherryville, Betty Meadows.
But that place, that coal camp David we're talking about, when everybody left, the pool was filled in, was dried up. There was no longer, the fountain was there, and the store was turned into like a Goodwill place.
Well, the dam, it was drained.
The dam was drained, the fishing pond was drained. And by the way, we did have indoor plumbing. We had the septic system, sewer system rather.
Now that was in the 40s, so in 50s.
This happened in late 40s, early 50s.
Okay.
That started in the 50s, when they started putting water and stuff in the house.
And the houses were all built without any insulation. You heated with a coal stove, but you went through a lot of coal. They tore those down after everybody moved out. And they did tear those down and built not really energy efficient homes, but they did put up new homes. And the school that we had was tore down. We had a gymnasium there. A lot of people would come from there. None of them ever made it to the pros, but they were all good basketball players. A lot of talent.
Here you are talking about the 1950s, and that was still pretty backward, though, for, you know, you're just getting houses with running water and plumbing. And,
well, not really, because when we come to Ohio, my brother had an outside toilet.
I can remember when we first moved to this area, and we moved here in 52, the places that had outside toilets and running water were around this area right here. Now, we lived over near South School, and all those houses, you know, of course, were built, you know. But still, I don't know, I would say,
I thought we were pretty modern.
And David, you thought
David was
it was a move up from what you...
When I came to Ohio, I didn't sit down. Because I had to go out. You ever go to an outhouse when it's 20 degrees outside? It's cold. And he had one up here. I didn't like Ohio. But now he did get an inside toilet. I think about 60. Now this was 66. And he still had an outside toilet. And I was impressed that I came from a place that had running water, inside toilet. Yeah, we had to carry coal. But come up here, you know, they got gas heat. They got running water and an outside toilet. I thought we were stepping back in time. But then when you get to the big city of Dayton, I mean the big Lazarus and Elder Beerman's and then Fairborn is.
You know, it's hard to believe we come out of David, moved up in here and not much to work. O&F company.
When you left, you owed the coal company.
Oh, yeah, I owed about $300. When I left that.
They took your land and you end up owing them money.
Yeah, you know, all
$300.
That's an awful big amount.
I know a lot of people say, well, I worked but I've worked many a time. I never even got a payday. Didn't even know what the hell a payday was.
Well, we had a book that we used to go to the store room. You charged over your limit, you didn't get it.
Yeah.
We owed the store so much money that when we went to the store, we were allowed $25 a week. And if you spent $26 a week, you put stuff back on the shelf. Because you had reached your limit for that week and you couldn't draw anymore. Carried a little book, kept all your little track of all your money.
Don't have any of those little books left, do you?
Got them little plastic cards. Yeah, we got those. You got those books, haven't you, Mom?
No.
Oh, yeah, you have.
It would be interesting to see those sometime.
Well, like the picture of David, I don't know if we could rub it up right now. But
Oh, well, no, I don't want you to, you know, but sometime if you get a chance,
I'm
I'd
sure
be
you
interested.
got those books right here.
It'd be interesting.
An old credit.
The vouchers, like?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll have the book. I'm sure it's your
You
book.
see,
You know how
if you want to move through the furniture, you go down there and buy it on
You open it up, they write some groceries on it.
You pay so much a payday on it. Well, they paid you every 2 weeks.
I have those.
Now, when you moved in, when you went to any of these camps and you moved into a house, were they furnished usually? Okay.
No, you furnish your own house.
Okay. I had heard that sometimes when the miners moved from camp to camp, that they moved into houses that were already furnished, and they had to pay for the furniture, and the coal company would, charge every time, so they would.
Well, basically the same thing here. You went to the company store and bought your furniture,
Yeah.
and then you paid the store for it. I mean, anything you wanted was like a catalog.
Yeah.
And you could go to that catalog and order just about anything, and they'd bring it to your home, like we do mail order today. And, but
Yeah.
they had you in a spot. You work for them, and it's kind of like a pretty good little circle, because you work for them, and the money comes right back to them, because they got your food, your housing. Oh, electricity, where'd it come from? Who'd you pay the electricity?
They wouldn't, I bet you they wouldn't,
You had to pay the electricity.
I bet there wasn't 25 men that lived there in David, draw the payday.
Yeah.
I bet there wasn't 25 men draw the
I
payday.
bet that's your house rent and everything.
See, you paid your house rent through the company, you paid your grocery bill through the company, you paid your electric bill through the company.
Fine.
Everything was paid, you paid it right through the company.
And
The company paid it all.
Other than that.
Yeah. Any of the camps you work with have black people or immigrants working?
Not that where I thought David did. That wasn't because they wouldn't have hired them. If they'd have come in there for a job, they'd probably hired them, but it wasn't none of them come for no job.
They'd have put the white suit on and killed them.
Well, I had read that a lot of the coal companies hired a lot of immigrants and blacks from the South after, in later years after the 1920s, but those people had to live in little areas separate to themselves. I mean, if they hired blacks, the blacks had to live over in a little section over here, and they weren't allowed into the white section, or the whites weren't allowed into the
I
black
don't believe
section.
I've seen a black.
No, now Wayland, there's colored people who lived in Wayland and worked there at the mines in Wayland,
But-
whites. And I don't remember them, I don't remember them living off by themselves, no.
So they lived right in the same
Yeah,
there?
they lived right in the same area.
And you never saw a black person until you were 18?
Well, it looks like it. Well, I think I was a senior in high school. Now, I came to Ohio and seen one, but from where I'm from, Prestonsburg, I can remember seeing the first black person in that town when I was about 17. I was a senior in high school. Never been around any of them. And once we come to Ohio, and we'd go visit them, and then the one we did visit, you'd see Aunt Jemima on the TV, or that server or whatever. That's who she put me in mind of. They were wonderful people, but it was really strange going to a black family's house and seeing all these black people. Wow, that's strange.
Well, there were many of them.
Well, there wasn't any around David that I know
Oh,
of.
no.
No, they wasn't none taller
There
than
wasn't none freshman one.
No,
No,
what I
no.
ran into was in the pool hall. I didn't go to school any of it. He was in the pool hall. What he's doing there?
No, I know of it, wasn't
He's
none.
the first one I seen when I was 17.
I think there's a few that,
That would be a shock.
That
Never
would.
seen a black person all your life, and when you're 17?
Well, I've seen him on TV.
Yeah.
But we didn't get a TV to what? 50.
49.
We got 149?
Yeah.
When I was born?
Yeah.
We got a lot to celebrate. TV and me all the same year.
Son, we got television soon as it come out. Soon as that, they got one at the company store there.
Yeah.
David, we got a television.
Yeah, that was one thing too that would go through the can. A new product come out,
Everybody got one.
and everybody was like the Joneses. Everybody went and got one. I mean, TV come out, bingo, everybody in the neighborhood's got one. It was kind of like keeping up with the Joneses.
Same as it is here.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, but in David though, all you had, if you could get one product in that store to sell, I wouldn't give a darn what it would be. This is no shoes. Everybody, if you bought one, everybody else had to have one.
Yeah. But up here, the difference is I don't even know my neighbor. Up here, it's nothing unusual to live next door to a man for 20 years and speak to him 5 times.
Well, I got news for you. They got lived down there on the other side. Listen, I've been living next door to a half a dozen times now.
He's a Clark, I reckon.
28 years.
We got a neighbor living behind us here. And
Well, you have
her
to talk to them.
dad died back there. And we know him, and we speak with him, see him. And this guy right here, hardly ever see him.
I think that's the biggest difference between Kentucky and Ohio is your neighbors don't, well, especially
Down home,
Down.
everybody knows everybody.
Well, then, maybe you're more isolated here than were in Kentucky.
Oh, God.
There ain't no doubt about
In
it.
Kentucky, like I said, I had friends my own age, 300 people roughly, 300 houses. I don't know how many people that would be. You figure average street to a family.
More than that.
I don't know how many square miles it would be, but probably 2 miles, 3, maybe. Everything's in walking distance. I can get anywhere I want to in 5 minutes.
And you know everybody.
And knew your neighbors in the business. And up here, you don't know. That's one of the things I guess bothered me about Ohio was, in Kentucky, I had all these people around me, but yet anytime I wanted to, I could escape to the hills and get my peace. Get away from everybody and unwind and enjoy hunting. In Ohio, one of the things I hated about it, you can't go anywhere if there's not somebody else. 2, I'm always around strangers. The guy living next door, I don't know anything about him. He may be on drugs, you don't know anything about him. It's kind of uncomfortable living in a situation where here, you come in the driveway, you come home, you go to work, and if you go anywhere, you've got to go with, you just don't have the friendships that you had at home.
This guy over here told me another day, come out there. He was out there and he spoke to me. He said, the military sent me to Mexico for 2 weeks with. Said I'll be gone the next 2 weeks. I don't see him nowhere.
I haven't seen him in, he lived over for what, probably a year, and I've seen him one time. Of course, I don't live here, but I'm here every Sunday. You never seen him?
Well, Leona hardly ever, that people over there, they speak of that.
Oh, Rick and them, yeah, they're good neighbors. He's a friend.
Yeah, they speak every now and then. They'll come out and I can be out there and they won't even speak back there.
Rick won't?
I haven't heard either one more.
Well, normally if they see me outside, Rick will speak. He's more my age. They'll speak. But you got people across the street. I mean,
man, I don't know that fellow over there.
All you know, though.
Yeah.
I don't know that fellow over there. I don't know that fellow. And this guy here, I don't know his name, but I know his face.
Well, you were raised in a flat up here in Ohio, or and yet how many on that street did you know?
We knew quite a few people.
Did you?
Yeah.
Your families know them? Your mom and dad?
Yeah, you know.
Not you as a kid, because as a kid, yeah, you would know.
I would say, well, I'm going to turn this off now.
Okay.
If I can find that.